Welcome to the Geek Homeworld. I am your host, Ed, aka Savage Tech Man. We talk sci-fi, TV, movies, superheroes, and all from a geek perspective. You can find us on Blogger, Google+, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We're everywhere. Join the Geek Homeworld. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Geek Homeworld podcast. I am recording this as also a video episode, and this is a very special episode. September 8th, 2014, 6 years ago, I started the Geek Homeworld podcast. It came out of the... I forgot the name of it. Digital Man Cave. Thank you. My brain's not working. It came out of the Digital Man Cave podcast, which is hosted here on Libsyn. You can still find it. And so we're celebrating. That was September 8th, 2012. So that's when I started podcasting. I did that for about 6 years, and then I started the Geek Homeworld podcast, had a family tragedy, so didn't actually podcast for a year to the date. And so it's 5 years of actual podcasting, Geek Homeworld, but 6 years that Geek Homeworld existed. So I'm calling it our 6th anniversary. So that's what it is. And it's 2020. I'm recording this on September 23rd, which... would have been my dad's 92nd birthday. I didn't plan it this way, but he's in heaven, so, God bless him and all that good stuff. Great person. Miss him dearly every day, but hold on to those you got. 2020 has certainly taught us that how important that is. Every moment counts, so while you're there, be there and make it count. And speaking of making it count, I do a lot of different things, and one of the things that in my heart and soul, I'm a geek. I don't have my Star Wars hat on. It's in the other room. I forgot. But we're doing a lot of things here with the Geek Homeworld podcast. We're going to be doing a lot more things as well. And with that being said, there's going to be a lot of things that more video content that I'm bringing you. As the recording of this, I did a reaction trailer to, which was several weeks ago that it came out, the second trailer for 007 No Time to Die, which is tentatively scheduled for November of 2020. So hopefully, due to the pandemic, it will not get pushed back. So anyway, you can go over to the YouTube channel and check us out. And I'm just going to go through some screens here if that all works well. If you're watching the video, which hopefully you will on YouTube, and you'll subscribe, enable notifications for future content, and definitely give a thumbs up to all of our videos on there when you watch them. And it really helps, and we really do appreciate it here. But my passion is for podcasting. One of the things is I'm a production sound mixer. I have my own radio show called Savannah on Film, which is also now in podcast form, wherever you get your podcast. And the same goes for Geek Homeworld. It's always been a podcast. It grew out of a more slimmed down version, if you would like to say, of a slimmed down format of the Geek Homeworld. Geek Homeworld was a more slimmed down format of the Digital Man Cave that I started with some friends of mine. And that ran its course for about 6 years. And then I launched the Geek Homeworld podcast, and my mother got ill and then eventually passed away. And that year went by. It was a little tumultuous for me, but, that's life. It happens. And death is a part of life. We've certainly learned that in 2020. My heart goes out to everyone who's lost someone who's been affected by the pandemic, and who, at the recording of this, September 23rd of 2020, may still be suffering through or going through it. We just hit 200,000 deaths and counting in the U.S. alone. And there's like, what, 6 million-ish people around the world that's been infected with COVID-19. So I'm hoping and praying that we can end this year on a good note, if that's possible. And at 2020, I'm always an optimist, so I believe we're going to come out the other end of this stronger and better, and hopefully a vaccine will be there available soon worldwide to everyone. I want to welcome some people in Ghana. People from the service of Ghana. It's a music service in India, on the continent of India, and we've been getting a lot of downloads here on the Geek Homeworld podcast through that, and so welcome. We're always taking requests, anything you want to see. I'm looking for people to podcast with, fellow podcasters, fellow YouTubers. I'm growing our presence on YouTube there for Geek Homeworld, and I'd like to probably chat with you, and maybe we've got some similar interest, and I can be on your channel, you can be on mine, etc., etc. We'll figure it out. And I'm still growing with the video portion of this because at heart I'm an audio guy. I've been a podcaster since 2008, which happened to be when I started the Digital Man Cave podcast. That was in 2008. I remember it was around the time of the Dark Knight Batman, and it's also when like Iron Man was coming out around that time, so it's easy to track the beginning of basically the MCU was kind of around the time, and Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight were around the time or in the same year that I started podcasting, and that was 12 years ago. So September 8th, 2020 was the 12th consecutive year of podcasting for me. And this is 6 years of the Geek Homeworld. So we rounded out 150 episodes on the Digital Man Cave podcast. It's so hard. I haven't podcasted on that one in years, but we did 150 episodes, and then I decided to kind of streamline things a little bit. And of course, the technology's come forward in time since then, in the last 12 years. So I've been able to do much more with the podcast. And so if you're watching the video you're seeing right now, scroll across the bottom, and it gives you a few of the sites, and we're going to talk about them and just familiarize anybody new to our YouTube channel, new to the podcast, new to the audio. So I'll try to talk this through as I'm also doing the video. But we have our main website for the podcast is on Libsyn, and they're a fantastic host. If you're looking for a host for your podcast, they're really great. So we're geekhomeworld.libsyn, that's libsyn.com. So our main website for the podcast is there, geekhomeworld.libsyn.com. We have a blog, and sometimes my friend Scott Schreiber comes on several episodes, and especially around awards season, and he does some blogging for me on there. I will be possibly looking for some other people that, if you have a talent for blogging about, what is Geek Homeworld? We're going to talk about that in a second, but I'll talk about it now. Basically, it's just geek culture. We like sci-fi, action adventure, film and TV. I work in the film industry as a production sound mixer, so I record sound on films and in television and different things. I've done commercial projects. So sound has always been a part of my life. I'm a big music junkie. I love any kind of song. You'll find me singing all the time, and I cannot sing very well. At least I'm told. We used to do a lot of rock band, me and my friends, and maybe I'll get back into that. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore, but I still have it on the Xbox or whatever. But I love that. I love trivia, and I haven't done that in a while. The pandemic stopped a lot of things, but it's changed a lot of our worlds. But we still got to go on, and we talk about the film industry, what's going on in front of the camera, behind the camera. And I've got a few sites I'm going to be showing you here And but anyway, so our main website is geekhomeworld.libsyn.com. We have a blog, and I don't really blog as much as I used to. I started out as a blogger before I podcasted, and then I just got kind of lazy. The podcast seemed easier. It was just easier to talk to, not then a video. So, I'm not great with the video. I'm learning the video portion of it. And it's just always been audio. So the whole podcast of 6 years of the not Geek Homeworld, Digital Man Cave podcast. Yeah, that's it. Wow, I should have pulled it up. The Digital Man Cave podcast, it was all audio. I don't think we ever did any video episodes, but it's still up on libsyn.com. There is one podcast I did with my wife. We did about 8 episodes, and it was called The Quotables. And it's funny, they're both still getting downloads, even though I don't do those podcasts anymore. I still have the domains and everything. But it's also on Libsyn. It's called The Quotables. And it was a short-lived podcast I did where we would take famous quotes and we would talk about them in different shapes and forms. And my wife did a lot of the intellectual heavy lifting, and I was kind of the comic relief, I think, in there. So, but it was a lot of fun. We did about 8 episodes of that, and we had a pretty decent following. And I thought of bringing it back one day, but who knows? We'll see. But anyway, so. Did 6 years of the Digital Man Cave podcast, and that grew out of the fact that my friend, he has, and you'll be hearing hopefully some more. We're working on a project together, so hopefully you'll be hearing some more about what we're going to be doing. So that's something to look forward to here in Geek Homeworld. I may do a little bit of a crossover with him, have him on the show in some form or another. It may just be audio, it may be whatever, but we're working on some stuff via Instagram and maybe YouTube and different things for him, and so that's coming up. But he's known as Digital Caveman with 2 N's. And anyway, when we met years ago when we used to work in the corporate world, and his entire top floor of his house has like every Star Wars battle laid out in different size figures and all that, and he's into some interesting things with action figures that he's doing and comic books and stuff, and so it's a little endeavor he's working on. So we'll see if that comes to fruition and how I can assist in that, and we may put up some videos here of some of his content and link to some of it, and maybe have him on the show. That would be wonderful. But we used to podcast, and basically the idea of he's Digital Caveman, and man caves were like the thing, 12 years ago. Everybody had a man cave. Every guy had a man cave. And mine's a man cave / studio, whatever. It's just a studio. So it's a bedroom that became a studio that I'm converting slowly to a studio. Anyway, so, we all got to start somewhere. And I have many heroes along the way, people I've emulated and learned a lot from in the 12 years and going, that I've been podcasting. So life has changed, technology has changed, everything has evolved immensely. And so it's just exciting. It's really just a wonderful experience. And I've got so much more that I want to accomplish with this channel, but let's just kind of go through some of what it is. And by the way, I forgot Twitter. You can follow us on Twitter at Geek Homeworld. And so I don't do a lot of tweeting. Twitter sometimes can be a dangerous place to even have an opinion. Social media at times can be not so nice, but I'll certainly, if you tweet me, I'll probably tweet you back, or we can talk about geeky things or whatever. And like I said, I'm looking for some interesting people that from other channels on YouTube and, with a presence out there that has a certain niche that they speak to, or certain opinions about things, and maybe have you on the show possibly if it's a good fit. And, maybe vice versa, you'll have me on your show if it's a good fit. So, we try to keep the positivity here, but I will get real with you, how I feel about things. As you can tell, if you're watching the video here, Geek Homeworld. I've got a bunch of Star Wars stuff here. I'm a big Star Trek fan. One day I hope to get the studio kind of finished, or what I call finished, and do a behind the scenes video. I've had someone related to me that's wanting to start a YouTube channel, and so they're asking me, well, what should I get? Blah blah blah, and so I may do a video or something on that. There's a lot of things on the YouTube channel would like you to check out. So let me switch screens here. I'm working with this. By the way, I'm using OBS. I'm using a Logitech, the 1080 HD 1080p 920C camera, and I'm running all this interface through a Rodecaster Pro, which hands down love it. It's freaking awesome. It's everything that I can go back to the days when I had different, mixers and everything, and then had that audio hum, and I'm still working on some things, and I've got this laptop that sounds like a jet airplane. It's so you may hear a little bit of that. I'm working with noise gates. I'm working with different things. So if my sound isn't perfect, please be kind. I'm doing the best I can. I'm learning. Maybe you can send me some hints on ways I can tweak this, and hopefully this will all become better, and it'll be better looking and all that. And I've used OBS, I've used Streamlabs, OBS and all that. So right now I'm recording the video through OBS to do these overlays here and stuff, and that you'll see in the video here. And that is my somebody trying to talk to me on the computer. I wish they wouldn't. But anyway, while I'm recording, of course. And anyway, so we have let's just keep going. And sometimes I don't look in the camera. I forget to look in the camera. So equipment, I'm running a Sennheiser 416 right here, which is overkill. You don't need all this, but this is what's working for me. And everybody's going to find their own way of what works and what doesn't. But let me show you a couple pages I keep teasing. Okay, so I'm going to transition over here, and you will see, I really wish whoever that was would not be texting me. Somebody's trying to Facebook message me right now, and I don't want to show that, so hopefully I won't have to. But anyway, so we're looking here, this right here, and I will bring it up. Let me bring up the screen so I can actually see what I'm showing you. So we have, this is the Geek Homeworld .libsyn website, geekhomeworld.libsyn.com. This is the main site, and you'll see we have you can visit our Facebook page, which you can go over to Facebook and follow Geek Homeworld over there. We also are on Twitter at Geek Homeworld. I have a LinkedIn page. If you want to click there, you'll see me on LinkedIn. You can email us at geekhomeworld@gmail.com. That's our subscribe if you want to subscribe just to the RSS feed. You can listen on Deezer. I don't have Deezer. Well, I do. Apparently the podcast goes out to it. You can listen on Apple Podcasts, listen on Spotify to Geek Homeworld. You can go to our YouTube channel, which I highly ask that you do. Go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, enable notifications, and thumbs up on our videos. We also have, you can listen on Radio Public, so that's a new one. We have Gone as one of the destinations, and this is one of our latest episodes here, the audio version. I had Andre L. Johnson on. We're talking about the influence of Chadwick Boseman and his lasting legacy, and that was one we did August 31st, and that was an audio, and there's a video version of that is on Geek Homeworld at YouTube, which we'll look at in just a second. But you can see, as of the recording of this, not counting this episode, if it all works out right, I've recorded 145 episodes. So in 6 years, I know a lot of people have probably done more, but really 5 years of actual recording, but 6 years of the whole Geek Homeworld. I've done a lot, but probably not as much as I'd like to. But we've got a lot of great episodes on here. You'll see my friend here, Scott Schreiber. This was back in June. We discussed the delay. Oscars delayed is what episode 143 is talking about. A couple of these right here We talked about going back to May of 2020. Scott and I were talking about the tentative film releases and the reopening of the industry. That was back in May. That episode's 142, Surviving the Storm. What the Future Holds is me talking, celebrating May the 4th be with you. Disney Plus, talking about Clone Wars, Rise of Skywalker, Mandalorian, the documentary, AMC versus Regal and Universal. So we get into a lot of things here. Episode 1, and that's what the future holds, episode 141. Don't worry, I'm not going through every episode, but I'm just kind of showing you Hope in the Darkness. This is where we talked about Picard, A Train to Busan, which Peninsula, sequel to that, is out, and it's worth seeing. But anyway, so we talked about a bunch of things. Going way back, you'll see a lot of these. We have an Oscar recap that was back in February for the last Oscars. We did our top film preview of 2020, and most of these didn't come out. Some of them did, some didn't. And anyway, so you can check all that out. And like I said, Geek Homeworld is available wherever you get your podcast in audio form. Please go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, like the videos there. And not all of our episodes are videos, but I'm trying to have more video content, as I said. So the next thing here, you come to Geek Homeworld, and it's loading, and that's somebody talking about going to the swimming pool, and you're going to see all these notifications pop up that I really don't want to. And it's probably just going to go crazy. Okay. Something just clicked there. But anyway, this right here is the Geek Homeworld page on Facebook. You can go there and you can like the page. And I'm viewing this as a visitor. And it says, like one of the things it says on our main page, I didn't show you on Geek Homeworld, but it says, you'll never find a more awesome hive of fans and geekery. Join our community as we explore sci-fi, superheroes, and action-adventure films and TV from a geek perspective. Join us as we talk about geek-themed film, TV, science, and more. Geek Homeworld was founded, I have 9/9/14, but I think it was 9/8 actually, 2014. And anyway, so we got a lot of likes on there. This is the episode August 31st that I got pinned to the top of Geek Homeworld at Facebook. And this is Andre L. Johnson. He came on and we talked about the legacy of, this is from August 30th, the legacy of Chadwick Boseman, and we're of course going to be talking about that. We talk about MCU, we talk about DC, Marvel, Disney, whatever's in the entertainment industry, we're going to be talking about here on Geek Homeworld, okay? This right here is a post you'll see from when I'm recording this an hour ago, and this is, that's me, Ed, and what am I? Let's see what I am. I'm a sound mixer, and I'm an on-air talent at WRU 107.5 FM in Savannah. It's a local radio station. I interview people in the film industry, and it's on 107.5 FM in Savannah, and so a lot of other things. That's my personal page, but Geek Homeworld, this is the website you're looking at right here on screen. Okay. And but anyway, I did a trailer reaction, which was several weeks late because I was just having technical issues of trying to get the trailer to work, and for some reason I did something right and it worked today. So I did a Geek Homeworld No Time to Die trailer number 2 reaction. So please check that out. That's brand new. That came out today, September 23rd, 2020. And there's some things on here. I was telling people to get subscribed. Right here, about 15 hours ago, this is some of the places that you can find Geek Homeworld. It's just a few platforms you can consume Geek Homeworld's content. Our main site is at www.geekhomeworld.libsyn.com, and of course on YouTube. Our destinations are on Anchor, Amazon Music, Audible. We just got on there with the launch of that with podcasts, so you can hear us there. The Android app is great. Google Podcast app is fantastic. Oh, that's down here. Blogger. We're on Deezer. Facebook on Publish. So yeah, if I publish an episode, it goes straight to like Geek Homeworld on Facebook, and then there's Ghana, which is the music streaming service out of the continent of India. So welcome everybody aboard. We mentioned the Google Podcast app, the iPhone, iPad app. There's the Libsyn Classic feed, Player FM, and a few of these podcast page that's on there. Podcast Source, Network App Listing, Radio.com mobile app. We're available on Radio Public. We're on Spotify, and under it might be under Geek Homeworld, it might be under my name, and just so you see who that name is, okay. But I've done a couple of Spotify themed playlists there, which is pretty cool. I've learned how to do that. Twitter, we're at Geek Homeworld, and there's Web Player, and then of course YouTube. So that's some of the stuff, and I'll repost some stuff from different things where we talk about just fun things that are geeky that, and you can see some of the stuff I'm showing here. So I like reposting a lot of really geeky comments. geekhomeworld@gmail.com is our email. And so that's the Facebook page for Geek Homeworld. Now, if we go over and stop clicking, it's going to happen on everything, isn't it? This is a new offshoot I started this months ago, but this is an offshoot of Geek Homeworld called Geek Homeworld Gaming. And I'm a gamer. I haven't gamed as much, but I'm trying to get back into it. And so any kind of gaming news I put on there, and then I did cross-post on this page. I need to change that. I've got my name on there twice. Oops, typo. And anyway, you'll see also here I did cross-post about Savannah on Film. And I recently had this gentleman, Ryan Waterson, on. And that's on Anchor off of there, my Savannah on Film, and we'll show that page in a minute. But that is our mission is to explore the economic and cultural impact of the film industry in Savannah, that's Georgia, through conversations with people who work in industry and related fields. We have a YouTube channel that you can like and subscribe to would be fantastic, and some thumbs up on the video too. There's some friends liking my stuff. That's nice. Thank you. So anyway, that's Geek Homeworld. Click that away. Okay. So anyway, and then we've been doing some of these here. This was the Instagram post I think I put up for Geek Homeworld, and it says we're now available on Amazon Music on the app there and some of the places. So anyway, that's the Geek Homeworld gaming page, and there should be games, right? So I should show videos. There are videos on the channel. You can, most popular, this is one, and I don't know if this is going to play sound. But I love Command & Conquer, and I do have the new Command & Conquer. I've played Fallout Shelter, so I've got a few on here. You can go on there and like it if you choose. We've got photos, everything, that a page would have. So anyway, some of the places that you can, so that's the Geek Homeworld Gaming, and I'm working on building that. So if you're a gamer, that may interest you, go ahead and like that. There's not a podcast for Geek Homeworld Gaming yet, but, we'll see what happens. I'm juggling a lot. But here we are on Google Podcasts. If you just do a simple search on Google, you'll come across us. And the Geek Homeworld Podcast is a lively weekly podcast touching on the best of sci-fi, superheroes, action, and adventure from a geek perspective. Produced and presented by Savage Tech Man. That's my Xbox gamer tag, a.k.a. Ed, with an array of guest hosts. And, we've got all these episodes on there. So that's what it looks like on Google Podcast. And if you have the Google Podcast app, which is one of my preferred apps, I just like how my shows show up in there and all that. But please go over there and subscribe, and you'll hear our podcast there. This is not in iTunes, but this is looking at Apple Podcasts, the preview, without actually going into it. This is from I'm on a Windows-based PC, so laptop or whatever. So that's under Savage Tech Man. That's what I went by for the longest, and then finally, it's AKA Ed. So, and that's my name there. There's a Rest in Power, the one we did August 31st, our last episode, and it's not showing the actual episode here. It's just showing the name, but interesting. But Anyway, so that's we're on Apple Podcast, Geek Homeworld. It says we have 97 episodes, but we actually have more than that on there. So I don't know why it's not showing all of them. Now, if you go to Twitter, you can follow us. That's me there. This picture is really old and it's really cool. I kind of like it from back in the day. You can see my Yeti, which if you look in the background, I'd have to switch screens. You'll see in my shot later. Just look for the Yeti that's sitting behind me on the shelf there. I use it sometimes, but not as much anymore. I got a pinned tweet here. This is you're getting a preview of from Savannah on Film, and I just cross-posted it to Geek Homeworld on Twitter, but I'll be having this gentleman, Chad Darnell, who's really accomplished in the film industry, and he's out in the Atlanta area now, in between Atlanta and Savannah, and so he's pretty cool. And you can follow me, but that's going to be on Savannah on Film this week. So there you go, free preview. This is me right here on. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter. And all that. I'm the host of Geek Homeworld, Digital Man Cave, Savannah on Film, and the Quotables podcast, which I don't do Digital Man Cave or the Quotables podcast anymore. I just do Savannah on Film and Geek Homeworld, as we said. And that's the Savannah on Film 1 is, because I think I did the first one, Savannah on Film, and I screwed it up somehow, but that's the Twitter for there, okay? But anyway, and there you see there's an hour ago, No Time to Die, trailer 2 reaction. And like I said, please go to that YouTube channel and click on that and subscribe and all that fun stuff. So let's go over to that, not infamous, but I got to work on my channel art here a little bit. But this is Geek Homeworld, and right now, yes, we only have 17 subscribers on the YouTube channel. I'm growing the YouTube channel, so that's why I want a lot of people to just click subscribe on the channel there. We've talked about some powerful issues. We're not afraid to kind of skirt the issues. This one was episode 145. This is the video version I talked about with Andre L. Johnson, and we talked about, Chadwick Boseman. We've had a couple views. 44 minutes ago, I posted the No Time to Die trailer to reaction, and see some of these like this is a headliner promo. If you have Libsyn, this is a really good thing for your podcast. I see people that I'm utilizing stuff that Libsyn has, and one of the things they've powered with is headliner, and you can do these for Instagram. They're a certain dimension. For Twitter, they're another dimension, and for other platforms, Facebook, whatever, Twitter, I think I said that, Instagram and all those, they have different, formats and different time limits, but you can do like this one's 2 minutes and 21 seconds. It's basically it's a selected audio portion, and you see the words come across the thing, and you see the little, like, when things go up and down, it's like registering. It's like a little audiogram kind of thing. But that's what that video is. If you see those with the logo like that, and you probably can't see in this little picture. I don't want to click on it here on the YouTube site. You can, but it's for episode 145, Rest in Power. Then this one right here is actually, you see, it's like 59, 54. That's the audio version. I know it's kind of cheating the formula to send the audio versions, but I still want a copy on YouTube of those. So the audio versions of the podcast always go there. And then the video, of course, goes on YouTube, and the audio also ends up in a podcast form, a Geek Homeworld. And so we got a lot there. We have some playlists here. So I've got a lot of different things I listen to, but let's see, videos. And there's like welcome ones and different ones. It's my friend Scott there, who's a freaking contributor. There's me and Baby Yoda back in the day, and I was working on trying some green screen out. So you can see a lot of these are audio ones, and it goes on, and this is just a portion of it. There's a Rise of Skywalker trailer I did. It didn't come out as well as I thought, and I did a top 10 in 10 minutes. That's another thing I tried, and you can see some Terminator Dark Fate. I'm a big Terminator fan, so anything Terminator, even the bad ones or not so good ones, I've always loved Terminator and time travel. So there's a whole episode, and this is in podcast form, audio here, but it's also on, the audio version is also on YouTube, but I mean, if you go through, you'll see we have a lot of different things we talk about. We love doing top 10 lists and top whatever of, we talk about films like when Joker came out, spoiler-free episodes. We'll label those, and then ones that aren't spoiler, we'll talk about those. I try to keep the podcast to about 30 minutes, but that's certainly not happening right now because we passed that mark already. And but this is a special 12th year of podcasting anniversary special of Geek Homeworld podcast, and hopefully a video podcast version, or I'm really going to feel dumb if the video doesn't work out. But it's also, it's that, but it's also also, I just went blank there, but so I'm also doing the audio, but I'm doing the video. So hopefully this all works out. But yeah, this is also the 6th year anniversary of Geek Homeworld podcast. So there's some stuff I had on here before I started the gaming thing about a year ago. I was playing Starfleet Command, and then the SimCity Build It. I was in one of those groups there, and I still sometimes play that. That game's quite addictive. By the way, if you play Fishdom, I've gotten hooked on that. My wife and I play that game a lot, probably way too much. Channels, let's see if I have any channels on here. I've got a lot of things. Savannah on Film, if you want to go subscribe to that on YouTube, that'd be super fantastic. I'm very eclectic, so I've got a lot of stuff on there. Some of these people I don't know. Peter McKinnon, he's awesome. You know Peter McKinnon, a great photographer. If you want to learn about photography, he's a man to go to. This is the Everyday Dad. He's pretty cool. He's, I think, down in South Georgia. And I like Dave Ramsey. He gives good money advice. I love my 80s music, so of course I love Madonna. Star Wars Theory, he's one of the best channels out there for anything Star Wars. Curtis Judd, this guy is phenomenal. He has a channel and an audio channel, and he's really, really good. Marquise Brownlee, he's got 12.1 million followers. Oh, by the way, Curtis Judd, he talks about audio. He talks about, he does live streams and questions and all. And so he's a pretty cool guy to know. Some of these things I listen to, some I don't. Some of these are friends. There's my friend Marjorie. She's got way more subscribers than I do. I need to work on it. Vox Bites. This is Epos Vox. I like watching his stuff. I think media sometimes they're pretty good. Pat Flynn. He's very entrepreneurial if you're into that. And of course, I'm Sound Extra, Sound Devices. You're seeing a lot of Adam Taylor is actually his name, Epos Vox. And I know I've got some channels on here you may not agree with. I don't really listen to a lot of them. One of the giants in the industry, somebody I followed, is Dave Jackson, his School of Podcasting. And he's part of Ray Ortega, who hosts Podcasters Roundtable. I love that show. And there are some of my podcasting heroes. And Daniel J. Lewis is also, he started the Audacity to Podcast, and he's been podcasting at least a couple more years than I think I have. But these are some of the early adopters of the medium of podcasting. And I like Podcasters Roundtable. There was a time I was going to be on the show, but I didn't quite have the computer technology, and so I'm getting up the guts to submit to be on the show, but I'd love to be on Podcasters Roundtable. I'm a big fan of Ray Ortega. I follow him on social media. Dave Jackson, of course, he knows his stuff, and his School of Podcasting is fantastic. And I follow some other people. I follow, like I said, Daniel J. Lewis, who has been a big influence also upon learning to podcast and learning different equipment. So I watch tons and tons of videos and podcasts. I consume a lot of that media so I can, learn from others and emulate them and find out what works for them, and then find out how it works for me. And then that's how you kind of make your own idea of what works. And this guy, Cam's Creations, he's pretty good. He does a lot of effects, if you can see the video here, it's like the laser eyes and stuff like that. So this guy, I've really a new follower, Professor of Rock. He's a really good man. We have some very similar music tastes. It's almost kind of scary, but he does some really awesome stuff. This is Ray Ortega. He's got about 70,000 subscribers. He hosts Podcasters Roundtable. He's a very awesome guy, and I have some people that I've had on the show. Here's Ryan Sullivan. He's shout out to Ryan. He's got his own production studio, as it were, or whatever. going. He was on Savannah on Film, came out of SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design. So he's one of my guests, former guests from Savannah on Film, which we'll talk about in a second. David Harlan Russo, he's got a YouTube channel. He's a professor there, instructor at SCAD, and he's just a really good guy. There's Epos Fox, and just, I don't know why I'm showing you all this. I don't even know some of these people. Some of these I follow them, and I say I'm following the channels, but there's a lot of people. John Campia, big fan of John Campia. Used to work at AMC. He like my friend Scott says, he thinks that they have a lot to agree with. If you want to learn how to make a film on a small budget and all that, this guy's channel, I forgot his name, but D4, like the number, the letter D, the letter 4, and then Darius. I'm trying to describe this because there's the audio version of the podcast, but D for Darius, subscribe to his channel. He's pretty awesome. He's made a documentary and stuff, and he makes documentaries, tons of them, and he's got his own unique style, and he's very practical in how he approaches things, and you'll learn so much. It's like, I love people that give you content and they don't always hide it behind a paywall. He gives you just some practical things, but they're like hard work and just step by step of how you can make it. One of the big influences, I mentioned Daniel J. Lewis, the Audacity to Podcast. He only has about 7,000 subscribers on YouTube, but he's a podcaster first. And, I don't intend to speak for him, but, cause I certainly couldn't, but he's been a major influence in my podcasting, and he's just a really, really awesome guy, and he has a lot of knowledge. And I was literally learning how to use Audacity, which to this day, like right now, I'm still using as a redundancy backup recording here with my whole setup. And like I said, one day I'm going to do a video of my setup and everything if people care. So let me know what content you want on Geek Homeworld, and I'll do my best to see if it's something I can figure out. Like I said, the video part I'm not so good at, so it's the audio I'm better at, and I'm still growing, I'm still learning. I'm a massive Def Leppard fan. If you want to send me some Def Leppard stuff, that's awesome. I'm a massive Star Wars fan till I die. And even then, I still will be eating the bad stuff, or the not so good stuff. There's different people. I got so many things on here. I don't even know who some of these people. Nick Ninman, of what he calls the Neminati, him and his brother. I forgot his brother's name. I'm sorry. Apologies. As if they're watching my channel. Hopefully one day they will. But he's got about 687,000 subscribers. I think he's in Thailand, and fantastic. And he did a lot of stuff. That's where I first heard about TubeBuddy, and I use TubeBuddy. I'm not doing it. This is not some paid advertisement, but I use TubeBuddy. I love the analytics on it, the free version of that. And this other guy, Rob Balasabas, he's got about 2.6 thousand subscribers on his YouTube channel, but through LinkedIn I found him, and he's works with TubeBuddy, and he's great. Oh, I'm sorry, right here, I'm looking right on the screen. We have Nick Nenman, and then D-E-E, Nenman, and they're brothers, and they're awesome. D focuses mostly with, like, if you're doing stuff on the go, and to my cousin who was asking me, if you're watching this video, I'm actually telling you a channel and you can go to, but D Nenman, N-I-M-M-I-N, he works exclusively, or majority of his content is related around or centered around mobile podcasting, mobile vlogging and stuff like that. So to my cousin, is it Parker? You might check out D-E-E and Nenman, N-I-M-M-I-N. Well, I certainly didn't intend this to be a shout out to everybody, but there's Ryan George. He does those great his channel. I love his channel, and I forgot what it's related to, what company or whatever, but he does where he's pitching a movie. It might be called Movie Pitch, and I feel bad that I can't remember, but he's got a great channel there, a lot of fun content. Patrick Roper, he's probably one of Savannah's best actors. He's been on my show, I think, 4 times at least on Savannah on Film. He's a fantastic guy. He's just really great. Let's see. Holly Hobbs, that's a friend of mine. I know, and he's putting out some content. Julie Gilbert, she's been on Savannah on Film. She's working. She's an instructor, and she's teaching the next generation of people. She's a sound mixer, and it's so great what she's doing. I love when people give back, and when they're doing stuff like that. Andre Johnson Studios, you might want to follow him. He's great. Or Andre Johnson, he's pretty cool and awesome. I've got people here that I don't even know who they are, and like some things I just click on and I start following them, and I get content from different people. That was my friend Adam Messer. Talk about somebody who puts out content. This guy is a writer. He works for a part of the Savannah Morning News, do Savannah. He's a writer. He's a podcaster. Good friend. He's now got a film company. He's made his own film. Whatever you can think of a medium, this gentleman's done it. Poetry. He writes some Savannah, Georgia-based graphic novels. And maybe sometime I'll have him on and we'll do a shout out. That's an idea. So I got my little board over here. I can just write down some of these things. I love all kinds of music, from REM, James Taylor, to anything. There's the Everyday Dad. This guy's great. He's got almost 200,000 subs, and he's on YouTube. You want to check him out. This is a guy named Rodolfo, RLFO Sound, and he's in Canada. And I've watched some of his content. He's got about almost 5,000 subscribers. But if you're a sound mixer, he's kind of a down to earth sound mixer guy. He's pretty cool. You might want to check it out. Podcasters Roundtable. I told you about Ray Ortega. He runs this. They're growing the YouTube, but it's mainly, I think they use StreamYard a lot, and nobody's paying for this video. Nobody's sponsoring this video or anything. This is just me talking to you, the camera, to whoever's listening. Could be to myself. I don't know. But anyway, Podcasters Roundtable, they do, they have guests on that talk about different topics, and they're about 140-ish, 50-ish episodes in, and I love catching their content in audio, but I prefer the video, so I watch them there on YouTube too. But it's great. Ray Ortega, he's a fantastic guy, knows about equipment and all that stuff, and they talk about a lot of different things, and so they're fascinating, But Podcasters Roundtable, you ought to check them out on YouTube. They're a really cool channel. And that's got Dave Jackson from the School of Podcasting, and Daniel J. Lewis from the Audacity to Podcast and other things. He also has my podcast reviews, I believe is what he calls it. But they're the three main hosts of that, and they have other people on there, so they kind of switch out. But it's really Ray's show and all, and they're really great people. Cliff Ravenscraft, very great motivational guy. If you ever need a pickup in life and you want to know about like taking your stuff to quote unquote, as he would say, the next level, this guy, he was the one of the main people that I started following back in the day to learn about podcasting. And then he switched his brand up, and he's more a motivational life coach, speaker, and he's always got some very uplifting, positive content on there. So Cliff Ravenscraft, you want to check him out. He's on YouTube, but he does a lot, some Facebook Lives. It's cliffravenscraft.com. You can check him out. This is a guy, Laurent Sound. I've been following him. There's Casey in the stat. I just started following him. He's got 12.2 million subscribers. I'm late to the game on YouTube. Apparently he was one of the very first vloggers, and now he's kind of gotten back into it a little bit, so I'm kind of into that. This guy, Michael Hewlett, Hewlett, he's a friend and friend of my brother's, and he's a saxophonist and a great singer, and he sings around the Brunswick, Georgia area, and he's really, really awesome dude. So check him out. This is the radio station that I do Savannah on Film from, and I've been doing it remotely since the pandemic. But it's WRUU 107.5 Savannah. WRUU, we are community radio with global soul. That's our tagline there, and so I'm going to talk about Savannah on Film in just a second. So anyway, those are some of the people that I'm following there, and I don't know why I went down that list. I was not planning to do that, so anyway, you're getting all this extra content. But that's my Geek Homeworld YouTube channel. There's a lot more to it. We joined September 7th, 2014. It's the official YouTube channel of Geek Homeworld Podcast. Check back for new episodes or at our main site at geekhomeworld.libsyn.com and check out our blog for bonus content at geekhomeworld.blogspot.com. Geek Homeworld talks about life from a geek perspective. We love film, TV, sci-fi, action-adventure films, and awards season. We cover a broad spectrum of topics that people who live a geek-centered lifestyle would appreciate. We celebrate geekdom in all its forms. Thank you for being a part of the Geek Homeworld. And then our main site is geekhomeworld.libsyn.com, which we talked about. Okay, and there's a message. I don't want to look at the message. Why is everyone messaging me? Stop messaging me. Those are people that are responding to my Savannah on Film link. But here we go. Okay, I don't care. Just forget the notifications, okay? This is my Savannah on Film Facebook page, and it's also on podcast, wherever you get your podcast, wherever you get anything. You can get the podcast version of this. It's on Anchor, and I also do a live YouTube show from the radio show, which is the first hour of the video that I do. We record a YouTube video, and with my guest, not this weekend, maybe not next weekend, but when I'm doing some more new shows, I will record the show and I'll put it up on WRU. You'll hear it on 107.5 FM in Savannah, Georgia. It's a community radio station, which is fantastic. Love it. And a great bunch of people there, a great station, and very unique in Savannah and awesome. Very eclectic, lots of different type of programming there. And anyway, so my show is called Savannah on Film. It comes on every Saturday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. You can listen online anywhere in the world on www.wruu.org. That's wruu.org. And as we say, we are Savannah Soundings, community radio, global soul. So anyway, I put the first hour up there, 7 to 8 p.m. in the audio format. And then the video we have Saturday nights, usually from 8 p.m. until however long the video lasts, sometimes an hour, 15 minutes, an hour, 40 minutes, up to 2 hours sometimes, usually not more than that. But we'll have my guests come back, and they from 8 p.m. on, you can join us on YouTube on Savannah on Film. So go like and subscribe the Savannah on Film YouTube page, and you'll get that bonus content. You'll be able to come in there live and in the chat, and whoever my guest is and myself will be there, and you will be able to interact with us, ask questions and comments and all that good fun stuff. So anyway, that's Savannah on Film on YouTube. So go there, like, subscribe, and follow. And then we have, what else do we have? I'm on the verge. I had another epiphany for a name, and I may be expanding on a brand possibly. I'm not sure about this, but I'm creating an online poetry group. I used to host a poetry group in the 1990s downtown in Savannah here, and since I'm back into writing and doing my poetry and all that, I've got an actual book that I'm editing that was supposed to come out early in 2020, but because of the pandemic and other things, wasn't able to make that deadline, so I went back to kind of editing it. And anyway, I'm hoping to get that out by 2021, hopefully, the book, of poetry. But I'm going to start writing some more, and I'm going to... I want to do an online poetry thing, maybe on YouTube and/or have a Facebook, Instagram presence and all that. But I'm thinking of a poetry group that I've been wanting to do this in the online thing for a long time. And now that we have video, we can do that. And it might be something where people just drop a few lines of poetry and, drop in, drop out. We'll Zoom you in as part of the call. But anyway, so, that's something that's coming. But Savannah on Film, I did want to say, I do take the full audio from the Zoom call, which is the video. So I have, after that premieres from 8 to as late as 9, 10 Eastern Standard Time every Saturday, when we have the live chat, or we do a video premiere on YouTube, it's Savannah on Film. And then I'll usually have the podcast version, the full audio from that entire Zoom call, which is usually the video, because I don't usually edit the video. I just like it fresh, and whatever happens, happens. So anyway, that goes into podcast form on Anchor, and it's distributed to Apple Podcasts and all over the place. And so you can find Savannah on Film on any podcast form, platform that you get your podcast from. You can find Geek Homeworld on any podcast, place that you get your podcast and all that. So anyway, this is my guest. Here's a sneak peek. I posted this, Chad Darnell. This is back from, he's a casting director, writer, producer, and actor of stage and screen, as it says. He's super multi-talented, and we're going to get him back on for a new episode. But this weekend, I needed to run an encore episode. Encore means it's a, repeat or a best of, a greatest hits episode. So I'm running that for this weekend. And then here's some links. If you see here is a link to his the YouTube version back that I did of that. So, and you'll see on that, if you actually go to the YouTube channel for Savannah on Film, this is Savannah on Film we're talking about now. If you go there, you'll see this is more of me, Windows Movie Maker, back when it was still a thing. So 2018, I was putting pictures with, I had the audio tracking and just put appropriate pictures in there and made like a mini movie. But when we come back with the new episodes, I'm able to zoom in. So wherever anybody is in the world, I can zoom you in and, make it a video episode. And then I'll take that and make that into an audio episode, which is also a podcast and all that good fun stuff. And it goes on the radio station if it's related to film, if I have you as a guest on Savannah on Film. So that's kind of how all that works. I know I'm going into a lot, and I'm sorry. Oh, gosh, I'm coming up on an hour here. Anyway, here's some news that I shared on Savannah on Film, but Supergirl is ending. Season 6 is going to be about 20 episodes. It's going to be the end of that series, so I don't know. But anyway, so I've got some different things here. Winners from the 2020 Emmy Awards. I put some of that's related. Here's some of our YouTube stats. We're growing there. We're almost up to 60 something subscribers, almost 70 subscribers. I know it didn't sound a lot. September 20th, we hit 60 subscribers on the YouTube for Savannah on Film. We have well over like 1,200 Facebook followers. So if you want to follow Savannah on Film on Facebook, go ahead and like and subscribe or whatever on Facebook, and we'll have content on there, and you'll see the announcements for the video and whoever the guest is that week, and I put it out in all these Facebook groups. And so I've met a lot of interesting people since I've been doing the radio show since June of 2018. I've interviewed, I think, 81 people at this point. I've got a Google Doc on it somewhere, I'm sure. I do. We've already passed it. We're close to coming in up on 3,000 views on the YouTube channel. And it's only been a couple months, so we're really growing there. You'll see like this one with Ryan Waterson. This is the full audio version. This is what it'll look like when you see a post on Savannah on Film, looking at the Facebook. And this one was, I call them the full version. That means it's the whole video version from beginning to end. And I cue in using my Rodecaster Pro. I use that, and I'll have the intros and outros and everything programmed so I can do my show remotely until it's safe enough to me to go back to the studio where I feel safe enough, during the pandemic. And the radio station, by the way, have been doing everything they can to provide the cleanest, most appropriate place. They're taking all this pandemic stuff seriously, which is what we all should be doing. But I've just chose to do my show remotely, and it gives me a little chance to do more with it and grow the YouTube. And so I'm trying to grow the YouTube. There's what the video looks like, the one with Ryan Waterson there from September 19th, 2020. There's some stuff, like I'll post some stuff. There's some Baby Yoda and Watchmen win big at the Creative Emmys. So Creative Arts Emmy Awards, blah, blah, blah. There's something about the She-Hulk casting. So sometimes I'll put stuff like that on there. But anyway, so that's Geek Homeworld. So right there, please subscribe to Geek Homeworld. You can see it there however many times. And I'm going to turn my light back on here. Or maybe I'm not. There we go. There's one little background light there that kind of flickers. It's probably messing the video up. I don't know. So anyway, Let's transition back over there on that. So anyway, I know this is a bit of a long episode, but hopefully you've enjoyed this, and walking through this is a little bit more than I planned, but this is our 6-year anniversary of the Geek Homeworld podcast. Was actually, I think, September 8th, 2020 was 6 years. So we're a little bit late for the party, but we're here. So hopefully you've enjoyed this. Please share the video, like the video. Please go to all our platforms, subscribe to everything, thumbs up everything that you can. We appreciate it. I really, really do appreciate it. I hope to do more reaction videos. I want to tell me what type of content you're looking for me to do. You know, I'm going to be doing more with the gaming, hopefully in the future. It's just finding the time to do all this stuff and all that. So I got my Yoda shirt on if you can't see, and we got Baby Yoda, the child, back there. And so this is kind of the studio. So anyway, thank you so much for listening to this special episode of the Geek Homeworld podcast. I'm your host, Ed Ciucevich, aka Savage Tech Man. I thank all of you that have listened throughout the world, who may be watching this wherever you are. Let's all be good to each other. Let's get along. Let's cure some of the stuff that's ailing us, including the pandemic, the virus. Let's all work together. It's a tough time. 2020 has been a brutal year for a lot of us. It's touched a lot of us on a personal level and in bad ways. But it's also been good too. There's some good things that have come out of it. Let's all go into 2021, just being positive and just working together. And that's what I'm about. So, you know, let's all just look on the brighter side of things, and let's just take what we've learned and let's put it all into practice. And I think we can do anything. We can go anywhere we want to. You know, it's all possible. So thank you very much for all your support over the years, for Geek Homeworld, for the Digital Man Cave podcast, for my blog, Blogspot, for any way you've consumed our content on podcast form, for Savannah on Film, Geek Homeworld, and all that. Please continue to subscribe, like, listen, interact with us. I love to talk, so you can obviously tell. Usually my episodes on Geek Homeworld are tailored to be 30 minutes, but this was longer. So anyway, oh my gosh. So I got to go. I've got some things I got to attend to. So thank you so much, and I'm going to play the outro here. And thank you for this being part of this anniversary of the Geek Homeworld podcast. I'm your host, Ed Ciucevich, aka Savage Tech Man, and thank you so much for listening. Goodbye. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Geek Homeworld with your host, Savage Tech Man. You can find us on Libsyn, Google+, follow and interact with us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, listen to us on iTunes and leave a review, subscribe to us on YouTube, read our thoughts on Blogger. See you again on the Geek Homeworld.